Good morning. Welcome to Stock Market Today. Happy May Day. Wednesday, May 1st, 2019. I am your host, Dan Russo, the Chief Market Strategist at Chaikin Analytics. Find me on Twitter at Dan Russo _CMT. Stock Market Today brought to you today and every day by Chaikin Analytics. Head over to chaikinanalytics.com/today. You can sign up for a free email. You'll be able to follow along with this show. Get daily stock ideas in your inbox every trading day before the market opens. Special thanks to See It Market. Posts our work on their site and on social media every day. Special thanks to StockCharts.com, which hosts this show every morning in the 9:15 time slot. Let's dive right in. Major U.S. equity indexes were mixed on Tuesday, rebounding from early losses to close near the best levels of the day. Sector performance was also mixed. Comm services sold off and consumer discretionary lagged. Tech had a modest gain. Materials, healthcare, and industrials all outperformed. Defensive sectors such as utilities and consumer staples were all up over 1%. The dollar was weaker on the major crosses, leaving the dollar index down about 40 basis points on the day. Gold finished up 30 basis points. WTI crude settled up about 60 basis points. As we get to the desk this morning, S&P futures are up 30 basis points after U.S. equities put in that mixed performance that we mentioned on Tuesday. They did finish near the best levels, as I said. Treasuries are unchanged to slightly stronger. Dollar is lagging on the major crosses. Gold is down 20 basis points, and WTI crude is off 60 basis points. Now, most markets around the world are actually closed today for May Day. Japan's closed all week for the Golden Week holiday. China's closed today. We have the Fed meeting today. So I would expect a lot of indecision, at least in the early going of the day until we hear from the Fed. Not much to drive us from the international side. As I said, all those markets are closed. But let's dive right in. We erased early losses. You see, we tried to push lower yesterday, but we erased those early losses to close near the highs of the day and pushed up near all-time highs. Support, 28.90 to 29.10, then 28.50. Resistance, we're kind of blowing through it. Going to have to update this number now. RSI hits overbought levels once again. Chaikin money flow is bullish. We do get the Fed announcement today. Now, I'm not expecting much out of the Fed today, but the investors are going to parse those comments. They're going to go through those comments with a fine-tooth comb, look for any perceived change of tone. Look for volatility after the announcement. That's where we could see potential volatility here in the marketplace. Market in a minute. What are we writing about today in our note to Chaikin Analytics clients? Stocks erase early losses to close flat near the highs of the day. QQQ is approaching oversold conditions, remains leadership. We'll look at what that means. It's oversold based on our indicator that we use. We'll take a look. Sentiment has become less bullish even as the rally continues. I think that that's important. Investors await the Fed meeting and comments today. Futures do point to a higher open. Let's take a look. Power bars for the major markets. Dow up 10 basis points yesterday. 9 bulls, 1 bear. S&P 500 slight deterioration on the bulls, but also less bears as well. S&P was flat, 151 bulls, 49 bears. 26-7 bulls to bears for the NASDAQ, which was a big underperformer yesterday. Thank you, Google. Google down hard on the day. Dragged the NASDAQ lower to underperformance. Small caps underperformed as well. 570 bullish or very bullish stocks there. 288 bearish or very bearish stocks. Bonds, uptick. Utilities, look at the Utes, up 1.64%. Remember we were talking about XLU? If XLU held above 57, we wanted to stick with it. Good trade if you stuck with it, folks. 10 bullish or very bullish stocks, 0 bearish or very bearish stocks for those utilities. According to the Chaikin Power Bar, small cap stocks and large cap stocks remain bullish. Stock of the day today, Applied Materials. Semiconductor equipment company, part of the miscellaneous technology group within Chaikin Analytics, closed at 44.07 yesterday, down 38 basis points. AMAT has a very bullish Chaikin Power Gauge rating due to very strong earnings performance, attractive financial metrics, positive expert activity. Stock does have weak price volume activity, but all else being equal, when we roll up the 20 factors, we come out with a very bullish rating. Very bullish stock, strong trend, strong industry group. Outperforming the market. Market and model in agreement. Dynamic duo in gear. Been on that bullish rating since January, been outperforming since February. Stock is currently oversold with bullish money flow above a rising long-term trend line. That is the setup, folks. It's there. The setup in AMAT is there. We want to be long AMAT. Ticker symbol AMAT on the long side of the portfolio. Manage risk however you see fit, however it fits your strategy. That's always the case, but we want to take the setup. This is the process in action. Leading stock, leading industry group becomes oversold. With bullish money flow above the trend line, we buy it. AMAT on the long side here today, your bullish stock of the day. Sector tracker, looking at the movement in the major sectors over the last 5 days, and we talked about utilities. We said if they held 57, you wanted to stick with it, so hopefully you did. Healthcare continues to rebound over the past 5 days from those deeply oversold conditions. Financials starting to get in gear. Remember yesterday, we talked about the financials. We're seeing some signs of life in the financials. They continue to do well. Staples, real estate, and comms all higher over the last 5 days. Energy, obviously, you know that that's a group we have not liked. Industrials and materials continue to underperform. Tech, we want to see tech get in gear. We never like to see tech underperforming for any length of time. It is the largest sector weight in the S&P 500, so we want to see tech continue to do well. Our industry in focus today, retail services. Over the past 6 months, the group has underperformed the S&P 500 by 13%. And its power bar, that ratio measures future potential. It's weak, 22 bullish or 22 bearish rather, bearish or very bearish stocks, 12 bullish or very bullish stocks. Earns it a rank of number 17 of the 21 subsectors. It has moved down 2 slots over the past week. Obviously, a group that we want to avoid. Some of the indicative names there with very bearish ratings: National Vision, EYE, L Brands, LB, and Grubhub, GRUB. All have very bearish ratings within Chaikin Analytics. So at the very least, we know we want to avoid these names, maybe potential look for opportunities on the bearish side of the portfolio. If you do trade that way, let's take a look at Grubhub here today. Grubhub, very bearish stock. Closed at 66.79, up 1.71% yesterday. Weak trend. If you think of it as a software company, it's great. I think of it more on the retail side for this analysis. What do we have here? We have a breakdown through support. Let's start with the basic technical analysis. We have a breakdown through support. Fine. Now let's walk through our process. Rating's been bearish since October. Stock's been underperforming since shortly thereafter. Market and model are in agreement. Dynamic duo in gear, and the intensity of the underperformance remains high. Highly underperforming the market. Look at this bearish intensity. Meanwhile, overbought oversold indicator is beginning to roll over after not even coming close to an overbought reading on this earnings rally. Bearish Chaikin money flow below a declining long-term trend line. Grubhub, at the very least, avoid it. Don't have it as a long position in your portfolio. If you do trade to the bearish side, check out the options. See if there are opportunities with vertical put spreads or just buying put options outright. But I think you want exposure to the bearish trade in Grubhub. GRUB to the bearish side of the coin today. AMAT on the long side. Grubhub on the short side. Trending names. Yesterday's S&P 500 gainers and losers. Seagate higher by 7.5% on their earnings announcement. They caught 2 upgrades today. Remember, Western Digital was down. Seagate, obviously, the name to ride in the hard disk drive space. GE's earnings sent the stock higher by 4.5%. Mohawk caught an upgrade to send that stock higher by 4.36%. Notice rating here has gone neutral. This was actually one of our poster children for bearish setups. In a lot of our presentations to clients, we've used Mohawk. Notice that there's a change afoot. FIS up 3.9% following their print, and ARNC up 3.67% following their earnings announcement. On the loser side of the board, Baker Hughes GE. EPS sends that stock lower, 7.5%. Google, we talked about it, down by 7.5%, really weighed on the NASDAQ yesterday. MGM, their earnings sent the stock higher by 6.9%. Perigo gets an IRS notice. Stock goes down 6.79%. And AOS, down 5.8% following their earnings announcement. Now, let's look at some of the upcoming earnings as well as Tuesday's surprises. INSEE beat by 27 cents. Twilio missed by 15 cents. Stock trading higher by about 5% here today. GE trading up, beat by 5 cents. AMD beat by a penny. Market likes what they saw there. Vertex, VRTX, beats by 20 cents. Neutral stock there, though. Reporting today, let's look at some of the key bullish names reporting before and after the close today. TAP, Royal Caribbean. You know, Norwegian Cruise Lines was trading up following their announcement, so we'll see what Royal has to say today. TAP also before the close. After the close, Ansys, big name in tech. Norwegian Cruise, I apologize. Norwegian is after the close. Met, LNC, ALL after the close today, bullish stocks. Neutral side of the market, before the open, Humana, Garmin, CVS will be big names to watch after the close. Qualcomm, Hologic, EQIX, neutral stocks to pay attention to. Before the open today, bearish rated CME is going to report. We rode that one for a good short trade about a month and a half ago. Covered it up. We'll see what they have to say. After the close tonight, bearish rated Kraft Heinz, MRO, and APA will all report. Let's dig into the note now. What are we talking about in our note today? Sentiment day. So let's start there. Sentiment is less greedy even as the market makes new highs. That's interesting to me. We're not seeing that overly frothy greed, bullish sentiment that you would expect with the market at all-time highs. What does that mean? And how, number one, how are we measuring that? We're measuring that a few different ways. What I've given you here is the 13-period moving average of the CBOE put-call ratio, right? So if you would expect readings with all-time highs, right? Remember back here, back in January of 18, the giddiness in the market pushed this ratio below 0.8. Not seeing it here, folks. It's not there this time around. Right? We're not super cautious, but the giddiness is not there, and that is positive for me. I think there's money on the sidelines. In addition to that, if you look at the CNN Fear Greed Index, it's actually moved over the past week, moved from extreme greed just to greed. It's actually backed off. So we've seen some of the other sentiment surveys, whether they're AAII, a lot of people are neutral on the market. From a sentiment standpoint, I'm not seeing a reason to be contrarian bearish. With that in mind, the Qs are close to oversold in the near term. So this is one of our charts, right? Our overbought, oversold indicator is a little more sensitive, designed to become overbought or oversold within the context of the existing trend. And what do we see here with the Qs? First off, very bullish ETF rating, outperforming the market, so we know we want exposure to the Qs. This is that large cap growth theme that I've been harping on for a while. Chaikin money flow, intensely bullish, above the rising long-term trend line after this breakout through 185. I think as long as we're 185, you're aggressive on the long side in the Qs, and the stocks that make it up, that have very bullish and bullish ratings, you want to buy those stocks when they become oversold, because look at our overbought, oversold indicator for the Qs. It's moving towards an oversold position. What does that mean? It's oversold within the context of this uptrend. Look for opportunities in the Qs. Maybe look at some of the cybersecurity stocks that are members of the QQQ, or holdings within the HACK ETF, HACK, breaks out above 40.50 in a move that was confirmed by momentum. Notice that the RSI for HACK has not been able to push below 50. All the while, Chaikin money flow is bullish. HACK above a rising 200-day moving average. I think as long as HACK is above $40.50, if you're an ETF trader, you can be long it. Or if you want to dig into the holdings, look for the individual names and then see which of those names have bullish or very bullish ratings in Chaikin Analytics. And then you can buy those names when they become oversold with bullish money flow. So that's going to wrap it up for today. Head over to chaikinanalytics.com/today. Sign up for the free email. Follow along with the show. Get daily stock ideas to consider in your inbox every day before the market opens. I'll see you back here tomorrow.